Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel. I am participating in a collaboration with Smalltown Six and a bunch of other ladies on YouTube. And so today my video is going to be Super Bowl, appetizer, and main dish. So for the appetizer, I'm going to show you how I make jalapeno poppers on the grill. And then for the main dish, I'm making sheetpan nachos. So both of those are a favorite around my house, and I'm sure your family would like them too. But I just want to thank Tiffany for letting me be a part of this collaboration. And so I will also have the playlist for all the ladies that are taking part in the collab linked down below in my description box. So go check that out. Anyways, let's get into it. To get started with these poppers, I just rinsed off my jalapenos, cut off the stem end, and then sliced the jalapenos down the middle lengthwise. Next, I take a spoon and I use it to scrape out the seeds and membrane because those are the spicy parts, and my kids eat these also and they don't like spicy. So once you get the hang of this scraping method with the spoon, it doesn't take very long at all, and I like that. If you want to use some sort of a glove to protect your hands from the jalapenos, that would probably be smart. You can get chemical burns from jalapenos if you don't wear gloves. I have learned that the hard way, but this was only a small amount of jalapenos, so it didn't cause me any problems. But I don't usually use gloves when I cook. Next, I got started on making the filling for the poppers. I started off with 8 ounces of softened cream cheese. This is just cream cheese that I let sit out on the counter for a couple of hours. I added in some garlic powder and I would say about a half a cup of shredded cheddar cheese. You can use as much as you want, just as long as you can still spread the cream cheese mixture into the jalapeno. But I just mixed it all up together. I took a spoonful out and I just kind of forced it into the crevice on the jalapeno where the little boat is, and that works for me. This part is super fast going also. After I filled the jalapeno with the cream cheese mixture, I took a piece of bacon, cut it lengthwise from the top of the bacon to the bottom of the bacon so it was skinny and long, and wrap that around my jalapeno. A lot of people use toothpicks to secure the bacon in place, but I find if you wrap it enough times, it'll stay put. It might curl a little bit, but it's not going to be that bad. So I just kept on doing that until all of my jalapenos had cream cheese and bacon wrapped around that. After I got the poppers assembled, I had a couple pieces of bacon left, so I went ahead and diced those up, added them to my skillet with my ground beef, and browned all of that up together for the nacho meat. So I just browned it all up, and then you'll see I add some McCormick taco seasoning. I get the Big Daddy container from Costco. And I don't measure the taco seasoning when I add it in. I just do what feels right, and it comes out tasting great. I also added in some water just to get some moisture back into the pan. It was looking a little dry. When it comes to nachos, I really like using the Tostitos scoops. It is like a little tiny nacho bowl. That way you get some meat and cheese on every bite and you don't have naked chips. So I went ahead and split one bag of the Tostitos scoops. I used the party size bag. I put half on each sheet pan after the sheet pan was covered in aluminum foil because it is no fun to scrub dishes after you're done eating. So I went ahead and made sure all the scoops were right side up and kind of in a single layer. I don't like having lots of layers. I want every chip to have the same amount of toppings. Next, I just wanted to get the olives ready to be a topping, so I didn't have any sliced olives in the pantry, but I did have whole olives, so I went ahead and sliced those up, which was excellent because I ended up with more than I would have if I just had a can of sliced olives. So I'm being honest here, this is our first time using a Traeger, and I could not get the temperature to get above 200 on this day because of the breeze. So the Traeger was awesome because it lended a very nice smoky flavor, but the jalapenos did not get finished off this way. They just were in there for about 20 minutes and they were not cooking, so I ended up finishing them off in the broiler in the oven, which worked beautifully. But usually I just use our regular propane grill and it works fine. After the jalapenos were cooking on the grill, I went ahead and assembled the nachos. So after I had the scoops right side up, I went ahead and put half of the meat mixture on one tray of the potato chips, and then I added the Rico's nacho cheese. I just have it in a pan warmed up so that it was a little bit more loose when I tried to pour it over, and that worked wonderfully.
To be in the great outdoors, forever free, you and me.
This is what the poppers looked like coming out from under the broiler. They were ready to put on the table at this point, and they were absolutely delicious. This is what everything turned out looking like. I broiled the nachos in the oven.
Hi!
And then on this half of this sheet pan, I put some canned caramelized onions that I had in the pantry. And then this is what the poppers ended up looking like. I couldn't get them to cook all the way in the Traeger because it was breezy outside. So I put them under the broiler in the oven as well. For the dessert portion of the Super Bowl foods, I just decided to make some chocolate chip cookies. These are the Pioneer Woman's Malted Milk Chocolate Chip Cookies. I will link the recipe down below in my description box. But cookies are a hit in my family. Like, no matter what the occasion. They're good with ice cream, they're good to just pick up and walk around the house and see what everybody's up to. So cookies are always a winning dessert for us, or snack, or whatever. Plus, I feel like I spend like half of my life making cookies for like lunch snacks and stuff like that. Anyways, I am using my Pioneer Woman Cooks Food from My Frontier cookbook. Like I said, I will link the recipe down below. It's on her own website. So anyways, it just calls for malted milk. That's the special ingredient. I have this malted milk. You can buy it at pretty much any grocery store. I inherited this from my grandma a very long time ago, and it still smells fine. So that's what I'm using. Anyways, let's get started. This always happens to me. Anyways, I'm like halfway done making the cookies, and I thought I was recording, but really I wasn't. So anyways, I have the butter, malted milk, brown sugar, granulated sugar, and eggs all mixed together in my mixer. Now I'm going to go ahead and sift together the flour, baking soda, and salt. I have a old sifter here. If you don't have one of these, you could just use a fine mesh strainer and like tap it together, or you could put it all in a bowl and whisk it together, and then that would be like the same consistency of sifting it. So that's what I'm going to do now, and so let's go. For these cookies, I just creamed together the butter, both the kinds of sugars, and then I added the egg, or both eggs actually. Next I added in the malted milk and the vanilla, and then I combined those well. After I sifted the flour, baking soda, and salt together, I mixed those ingredients in, and then at the end I added in my chocolate chips that I wanted to use. Okay, for chocolate chips, I have these Heath crumbles that were in my freezer, so I'm just going to use the rest of those, and then a handful or two of regular chocolate chips. I don't measure chocolate chips, I just mix in whatever looks good. Okay, for this job, I like to use my little cookie scoop. It's smaller than a regular ice cream scooper. I'm sure most of you guys have this, but if you don't have a cookie scoop, you can just use 2 teaspoons, scoop a little bit, and then use the other one to scrape off the dough. That's what I grew up doing. If Paisley was here, she'd already have ran off with the beater for sure. This is what the cookies came out looking like. She does make a note in her cookbook that these cookies are supposed to be flatter than your typical fluffy cookie because she uses these to make vanilla ice cream sandwiches, which is also a great idea. So that is the third thing for the Super Bowl foods. Alright, so I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give me a thumbs up and a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe because that really helps out my channel. Also, if you like seeing videos like this, stick around. I am happy to have you here, the more the merrier. And I will see you all in the next video. Again, thank you Tiffany from Smalltown 6 for having this collab and letting me be a part of it. Bye!